What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another Power Rankings video. Yeah, we're back. All the regionals are over with. All that is remaining for this split is the major. So it is time to rank all 16 major teams. It won't be just a top 10 worldwide. No, this will just be only the 16 teams in the major currently. That's all I really care about right now. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. At number 16, pretty easy. It's FUT Esports. This is the team that I predicted in my pre-split ranking or predictions to make the major. This is technically it's Maestros, but they got picked up by a board. Yeah, no shocker here. They swept through SSA, but they're not a very good team. They're just, farming a lower region. No real respect for what they're doing, but at the end of the day, they are the best team from SSA, but they will not do anything at Birmingham. Next, at number 15, we got LG. This one is the team of Cataclysm, Sphinx, and Sosa. It's another mostly import team, but they at least do have Sphinx, who is native APAC, and probably one of the best players in APAC. But he's, great team. I have a little bit more respect for them than I do of the FUT Esports. They're a little bit easier to root for, especially with Sphinx. I do really like him. I think he has a promising career in APAC. They swept through APAC, really no issue, only dropping, as you can see, they went 4-2, 4-0, 4-2 against Elevate, who is their only real competition. Yeah, unfortunately, because they are an APAC team, I don't expect them to do too much. Next, at 14, we have the Chiefs, who are from OCE. They are the second seed in OCE, and yeah, I don't really expect them to be all that great. Obviously, OCE looked the best it's ever looked last season, but that was really just because of Power last season. Power looked really good last season, winning all three, technically all 6 regionals last season, and so they looked pretty good, were decent at LAN, but the OC second seed outside of Pioneers at Worlds never really did anything, and I don't expect this Chiefs team to do too much either. They were not able to win a single regional, becoming second, third/fourth, and then second again. But and they really were never that competitive against wildcards. So yeah, I don't expect much from them. But we'll see if they can maybe rise up a little bit and take out some of these lower major region teams. And then right above them, I have their the OCE 1 seed. Of course, this is, like I said, this is the former Power roster wildcard who I did predict to make the major. I thought they would fall off just a little bit due to the roster drama and whatnot, and I was technically right. And by that, I mean they didn't win all 3 regionals, they only won 2. On me, I should have, I guess I should never doubt wildcard. They're still a very good team. Really, the only reason they didn't repeat again is because Scrims World had an absolute peak regional in Regional 2 and just went ballistic. But yeah, wildcard looking like they might be able to, once again pushing on the edge of top 8. I don't really think they will, but it is potential. They did come out alive in the most competitive OCE we've probably ever seen, with 4 teams competing for the major. They all looked really good. So yeah, maybe wildcard could be a little bit more threatening, but for now I have them pretty low. Next, of course, I got Jin GK, also known as just Jin G. Yeah, if you've watched this past regional 3, this was just an absurd performance from Jin G. They started off really weak, going out 7th through 8th, and then the next week not even making top 8 as they got eliminated in the groups. But this past regional, they just went on a crazy run, taking out Complexity, taking out Pirates on a Boat, and then taking out Ultimates in the grand finals to clinch the major straight outright. They lost to Ultimates. They would have still had a chance by playing a tiebreaker, but they just clinched it straight outright, taking down Ultimates in a Game 7 OT. Now, the reason I don't have them higher despite being a regional champ is just because I don't know about the consistency about this team. I mean, I don't even really think they should have won the regional. I think that was more of just Ultimates not, they kind of tossed at the end there, to be honest. I really think Ultimates should have won that regional. But yeah, I mean, Gingy's a good team, but we've seen this roster too much, and this roster really has never performed that highly. This is genuinely by far the best we've seen this roster play, and I'm not sure that they're going to be able to keep up that level of play. So unfortunately, I can't really have them higher despite their just absolutely mind-blowing run this past regional. But congratulations on making major Gen G. Yeah, I mean, they're still a competitor for top 8, but I don't think they will get that. The next right above them is another NA team, and this one was probably one of the more disappointing teams for me this season. That's Complexity. They started out kind of as expected, you know, getting 2 top 4s, which just nothing crazy, but they really never looked competitive against NRG. I think they took a grand total of 2 games off of them this season. Just never really doing anything against NRG, so kind of disappointing, but can you really expect from them? And then this past regional, they really kind of stunk it up by, you know, losing to Gen G and actually falling all the way down to the 4th seed in NA due to it. So just kind of a really poor performance from them, and I'm not really feeling that great about them. CRR looked good to start the season, but since has not really been, you know, that same level of player. I think Diaz is not too bad, but Razebull, we're really going to need Razebull to step up for this team to be really all that great. So fortunately, have them outside of the top 10. Next, we have finally entering our top 10 after a lot of waiting is Secret, who is the clear second best team in SAM, only really losing to Furia, and 2 of them went to game 7, getting 2 seconds and a 4th. You know, really that second and that last regional is just kind of an unlucky bracket seeding, so not much you could really do there. But they're looking really good. I really like Swift. I think Swift has been a huge upgrade for this team over Brad from last season, and I think Secret could do some damage, but we'll see if they can level up on LAN. This is Swift's LAN debut, so it's going to be, you know, we're going to see if he can kind of play better than they have online. But if they do, you know, we could see him make a top 8. And next we got Dignitas, who has not moved for me really. I honestly was so close to putting him as my EU2, like genuinely so close, and then they put up a miserable performance in the semifinals of this past regional. Like we're going to talk about the team they played, and obviously the team they played just had a fantastic day, but Dig looked awful, genuinely awful that day, and like that was enough to really set Dig back for me. I probably would have had them honestly number 5, but that one series genuinely just, I could not put them higher after that. I thought they were gonna, you know, they were beating the teams that I was like, okay, they should be beating these teams, and then I mean, they were getting good wins against NIP, and they were able to take down Vitality one time, but that's all they really have done. They just haven't played that many quality opponents and beat them. But, you know, just on the fact that Vitality doesn't look great, and they should have made back-to-back grand finals, which obviously they didn't. I was going to put them higher, but that performance in the semis was just really pathetic, so that's why I have them this low. But this is a team that I think could be really good. They just have to play so much better than they did in their most recent match. And next we have my personal favorite team, the Ultimates, and this is also another team that genuinely could be so much higher in my rankings. This is probably a team I could have at 5th or 6th. Probably 6 is where I would have had them had they just gotten the job. My English bad. The job done against Gen G, because honestly this past regional they looked unbeatable. They I think won their first 18 straight matches in playoffs. I think because they swept Pioneers, or not 18, 14 I believe, because they swept Pioneers, they swept SSG, and they swept NRG as well, and then they got the first 2 matches off of Gen G before they kind of just collapsed down the stretch and ended up losing. Had they didn't won that, I probably would have put them a little bit higher, because they looked really, really good. And then it just kind of looked whatever afterwards. So just kind of a little bit of a disappointing, because, you know, you just saw that peak for a little bit. Really just, I mean, they looked in full control against NRG, just no sweat against them. Great performance, but, you know, I'm excited for them heading into the major. I would have liked to see them get that regional win, of course, but we're just going to have to hope they don't kind of choke it away like they did against Gen G. And next is the team that I've been waiting for. GK, the team that made probably the most improbable, mind-blowing run of all time. Obviously, the Gen G run was crazy as well, but it didn't even catch me off guard as much because it was, second fiddle. Absolutely the most flabbergasting run you'll ever see. I genuinely sat here the entire day after this match just in straight awe. I could not believe what I had watched after this regional. GK, after being just like completely mediocre for the first two regionals, just flipped the switch. And it wasn't even during the entire third regional. They honestly looked whatever. They did take a series off of Vitality, which fair enough, it's pretty good. But they almost didn't even make day 3. They almost went out once again at top 8 against 100%. It took a game 7 to win it. But Sunday, I've never in my life seen a switch flip the way that they played on that Sunday. It is genuinely the most just ridiculous level of Rocket League you will ever witness. They did not lose a game, went 12-0, including taking down the consensus world favorites in KC in a sweep. I mean, they completely and utterly dominated KC. It was not close. That series was never even close. Just absolutely crazy performance. You could say, well, why don't you put GK higher, or not GK, but Gen G higher? They did basically the same thing. I think the big difference is that they played against KC while Gen G played against Ultimates, and GK did not just beat KC, but they wiped the floor with them. That really is the reason why I have them so high, because I really do not think nobody has gone close to KC. No one's even touched them. And GK just came in, they made them look like they made them look like a bubble team. It was mind-blowing to watch. So that's why I have GK so high. Obviously, the inconsistency is a concern, but to be honest, I'm not really worried when they put up a performance the way they did. We can, with players like Archie and Joya, we've seen, their heights like they did at the World Championship getting a top 6. So that's why I'm a lot higher than them on Gen G, but crazy performance in Regional 3 to win it all. Alright, come in at number 6, we got Twisted Minds. The team that I've been extremely high on all season, only losing 2 times to Falcons in the Grand Finals, and they even took a regional off of them. And that's why I have Twisted Minds so high, is because they've shown that potential to, be a regional champion, which a lot of these other teams haven't, and they've just looked really, really good. They've looked solid all season. I don't really think their floor is pretty high, especially if a player like Rise. I think Rise and Atomic, or especially Rise, really kind of raises that floor up. So I think they're going to be a pretty solid team. No real concerns going into them. I think they should make top 8 and honestly could be pushing top 6, top 4. Really excited to see them at LAN. Nupo is back, and he's teaming with probably the iciest LAN player you will ever see in Rise, Next at number 5, we got Vitality. Really has not been all that impressive. Honestly, I could have them a lot lower, but a few teams below them just really did not do what I thought they would do. So that's why they are number 5, just kind of there based off just the shape of how everything else is working out. Yeah, just not really that impressed with Vitality so far. Outside of one series against KC in, I think, a uppers match or whatever, they just have not looked competitive against anybody good. So yeah, just not impressed, but I do think they'll probably still make top 6, maybe top 4 at the major. Next at number 4, we got the Kings of Sam with Furia, who went 3-peat. They did not drop a single regional, winning all 3, and it really was not too much of a challenge. Secret was their only real competitor. They did not, they were able to take them down every single time. So Furia looking really hot, probably the best they've looked all as they're, in their time in Sam and whatnot. Maybe you could write, it's comparable to see how they play on LAN, to compare them to some of those old Furia teams. But yeah, they've looked really good, so really high on Furia going into Birmingham. Next, we have Falcons, who a lot of people, think could be even up to number 1. I'm not going to put them that high because they do play in Mina, and Mina's not that great of a region outside of Twisted Minds, who have been the clear, second. They did drop a regional to Twisted Minds, like I mentioned earlier, but outside of that, just not too much difficulty. So I don't think I think they will be a very good team and should not have too much struggle at Worlds. And next, we have Energy, who, honestly, after KC had dropped the series to Geek, were honestly probably in contention to even take that #1 spot. And then they came out and played the Ultimates on Championship Sunday and got murdered. They did not stand a chance. Well, okay, saying they didn't stand a chance is a little bit harsh, but they just got absolutely smoked by Ultimates. Really not that close of a series. And it ended up breaking their grand final streak, which was 11 at the time. So really crazy that, after 11 straight grand finals, it has come to an end. But yeah, this past weekend really did not my confidence in NRG. I still think, it's hard to doubt a team that has made, had made 11 straight grand finals. But honestly, not a great performance out of them in Regional 3. So we'll see if, they can maybe get back to form, go into the major. But at #1, not much of a change. It's still KC. They're not the same team that I thought they were before. Before, I genuinely didn't think that there was any chance that they lost the major. I thought they were the clear runaway favorites. They just looked straight up unbeatable. No one could touch them. And then GK happened. I don't know what happened that day, but GK happened. And since then, like I said, my opinion of them has slightly changed. I still think KC is the favorite. I still think KC is the best team in the world. But the fact is they're beatable. They have been shown to be beatable, and that gives me a little bit more concern with them. I don't have the same amount of faith I did previously, but they are still going to be my #1 team going to the major. But anyways, that's going to be it for my power rankings now. So we do have a few weeks until the major. I believe it's... at the time of recording this, it's about 3 weeks away, but I'll be uploading 3 videos before. Of course, this is the first one. The next one will be our player rankings, and it will not just be me this time. It'll be a collective player rankings between me, After, and Biscuit. We're actually gonna live stream it. Day is not, to be announced yet, but I will put out a post when I do know what day we'll be streaming it. But we will be streaming our player ranking reveals, and then that'll be uploaded as a video. And then the week leading up to the major, I will be putting out my major predictions. But anyways, if you're really excited, for more RLCS, make sure to like and subscribe, turn on that bell, because, I'm having a lot of fun with RLCS content as always. And I have a lot more content besides the RLCS coming out. I mean, at the time of this, my Minecraft series has started. So has my my Road to NCS Champion series. So make sure to go check those videos out as well if you're really enjoying my content. But anyways, I will see y'all next time.